Stu Feiner was fined $13,000 in February 1990 by the New York City Department of Consumer Affairs for false and misleading advertising. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Sports Betting Truth. And today we are going to talk about an unfortunate situation at Barstool and why they give a platform to Stu Feiner. After the Pick Dogs video I did the other day, I am feeling more emboldened to call out the touts because I feel like the touts are the worst part about sports betting. They're disgusting, they're scam artists, they're liars, and they deserve to be called out, and no one really seems to have the courage to do that, so I'm going to have to step up and be that guy. So like I said, today we're going to take on Stu Feiner and the company that gives him a platform to funnel people to his tout scam, his lying tout scam like lambs to the slaughter. And unlike Pick Dogs, to Pick Dogs' credit, Stu Feiner actually has a criminal history of being convicted and having to pay fines for lying to people. And yet people think he's still not doing that today. Well, let's check out what the Stu Feiner is all about. So let's start this off by giving an insight on how touts used to operate before the days of the internet.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Winners, 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 winners. I'm on a roll. 13-3, 13-3 my last 16 on games of my life. On Saturday, 2-team NFL parlay of the year. I thought Stu Feiner bang. I knocked him out. I knocked the man out last week. Listen, I will take my hand, knock him out. I will take my hand, knock him out. Bang, 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 bang. You know what I did? I know I'm like really mellow today, so what I did is I relaxed during the break. 2 espressos. They were beautiful. Matter of fact, they were doubles. 2 shots of Zambuca. I am feeling sweet. All right, folks. This is the bottom line. Now listen, you know how some of your friends tell you there's no such thing as a sure thing? There's no locks. There's no guaranteed winners. Forget those people. You know what they are? They are losers.
This is a biggie. 6 1 million star blockbusters, absolutely free. Take it away, bro.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Don't ever touch my hand again, by the way. Folks, listen. This is the biggest. Happy Easter, everybody out there. Eat hearty. Eat like an animal. I know I will. Your source, me.
All right, I think you guys get the idea because I hope my neighbors don't like call 911 or something. But anyway, that's how touts used to operate before the internet gave anybody who wants to be a tout a voice. But it used to be you had to be on 1-900 numbers and basically scream at TVs, cameras all day to your potential victims to get people to buy your crappy picks. But the one thing that hasn't changed in the touting industry is the smoke and mirrors and false hype and the outright lying about how the touts misrepresent how they really do long term. Because if you were to see a guy like this on public access TV or some, paid programming slot on your TV 30 years ago, you'd probably think, oh, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. This guy is a sure thing. I'm going to call this 1-900 number up and get some winners because he's saying I'm winning 75%, 100% lock, 6-star guaranteed blockbuster. None of that has changed. That is still how touts operate today in 2022. Sadly, it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's a bunch of false hype. And that is what really bothers me about Barstool giving a guy like this a platform because he still operates on the same mantra. If you go to his picks, he's posting what his records are, which is fine, but it's really hard to monitor these records if you're having to pay $40,000 for all of his selections in January, for example, or his $100,000 best bet. So one bet for $3,000 right here. Let me get it on screen. So he's charging $3,000 for one single bet, $100,000 best bet. The reason that it's that expensive is because how many people are honestly going to pay $3,000 for one pick? Not very many. It's that expensive because he doesn't want accountability. He doesn't want transparency. He doesn't want things like this right here. Someone on Reddit who documented his picks for a couple weeks back in October of, I want to say 2017 or 2018, showing that he was only hitting 44.9%. That is something that Stu Feiner fears. He fears someone actually buying his picks and showing that he he's not the winner he says he is when he goes on Barstool Sports Advisors. Because I guarantee you, he's going on Barstool Sports Advisors and saying he is a winner. I win, just like he is in this old YouTube video I was just playing from him 30 years ago on TV. You really think he's going to say, oh, I'm hitting 45% on Barstool Sports Advisors? No, he's not. He's going to say he wins. And that's the issue. That's why all this is so expensive. It's to prevent transparency. It's to prevent accountability. It's to prevent someone from saying, you're not really 67, 53, and 1 on your 100K best bets. You're not really 214, 116, and 8 on your 50K bets. What I'm trying to say is that touts are liars, and they cannot operate without being liars. That's why Pick Dogs, after I did the video on them a few days ago, have been going after me so hard the past few days. They spend all this time saying I'm a small timer, I'm not relevant, yet they're investing all this time and effort with the shilling and damage control and everything because they know sunlight is the biggest downside. It exposes the biggest risk to the touting industry. Sunlight, they cannot afford that. They have to rely on lying to people and keeping people ignorant on how they operate to make money. So shame on you, anyone who actually buys this crap, but shame on Barstool for giving this guy a platform. I want to go to Rufus Peabody. He's a guy who is very knowledgeable about sports betting, and I give him credit because he's one of the few people who do write about sports betting who actually takes on the touts. He won't really take them on by name, which I understand, but he will expose them. And this tweet sums it up. If you buy a pick from a tout then who has a 55% win rate, which is pretty much impossible. I mean, very hard to do. Betting at minus 110, you need to bet 20 times the price of the pick just to break even. So basically, you cannot win long-term paying a tout because after the tout fees, especially if you're paying $3,000 for a single bet to a scam artist like Stu Feiner, you're not going to be able to come out ahead. And the average person doesn't know that because they believe these touts are sure things. They're going to give you locks. They're going to give you winners. And you won't have to worry about breaking even because they're a sure thing. They're marketing themselves as a sure thing. So that is another reason. So when Barstool tries to justify bringing Stu Feiner on, oh, he's just for entertainment. He's just there to bring entertainment. Bull crap. You're giving him a platform to bilk people out of their money. You're giving him a platform for people to lose money thinking that they're buying Stu Feiner's picks to win, and then Rufus Peabody's tweet comes in and pretty much destroys that to shreds. And then finally, I'm going to post this. There's a Sports Illustrated article written 31 years ago about the downside of the touting industry. It was written in 1991. And I'm going to read this about Stu Feiner. The source, a sports advisor service in Farmingdale, New York, owned by Stu Feiner, who also owns a few 900 call-in lines. Exhibit C is Feiner's brother-in-law, the aforementioned Kevin Duffy, perhaps the nation's most prominent tout, who became famous for running ads that said, I will go 7-0 for you today absolutely free. Too bad absolutely free meant you first had to sign up for a month's service at $350. Then, if you didn't go 7-0 the first week, you got the next month free. So basically, you got worthless touting service for free. You're still out your $350. Duffy, who operates out of Long Island, also claimed to be no worse than 75% right ever. Yet, when his picks were audited by the Sports Monitor of Oklahoma City, one of the rare legitimate monitors out there, because a lot of the sports monitors, this isn't what Sports Illustrated wrote, but a lot of the sports monitoring services out there are run by the touts themselves to generate false records on the appearance of being independent. He never fared better than 58.8% in any regular football season between 85 and 88, and he sank as low as 39% for his picks in 87. Eventually, the Sports Monitor refused to monitor Duffy because of his deceptive ad practices. Stu Feiner agreed to be monitored by Sports Illustrated for 4 weeks in September. To his credit, he unfailingly gave us his choices. To his discredit, he went 37% win rate and lost an imaginary $6,000 based on a $100 unit. During that same period, we anonymously called Stu Feiner's 800 number where, curiously, he claimed to be cleaning up. On September 23rd, after Feiner had gone 3-11 for the week on his picks for Sports Illustrated, bringing his record to 11-25, one of his shills, Kenny Leeds, said in response to our anonymous call, "This week I went 3-0. The week before I was 3-1. On October 3rd, after Feiner had gone 7-7 for the weekend, we called anonymously and got another Feiner salesman, Larry Marco. This past weekend, we swept the board, Marco said. Then Leeds called back. This kid Feiner is making betting history. Stu Feiner was fined $13,000 in February 1990 by the New York City Department of Consumer Affairs for false and misleading advertising. Yet he sent out a promotional brochure last month after he got fined that reported in 1991 we had a documented record of 9-3. Knowing Stu Feiner's record as we did, we asked him how he could say this. That's what I went the first week before he started documenting me. Fine, that would have been the weekend of August 31st to September 2nd. The booklet, however, was dated September 19th to October 7th, 1991. So basically, Stu Feiner is a convicted scam artist, and even after he was convicted, he continued to scam people and lie about his long-term record. And Barstool, do you really think that Stu Feiner still does not do that today? That is how touts operate, because they cannot operate any other way. Their business model cannot operate without lying to people, and that is why touts are so bad. That's what Pick Dogs doesn't get. That's what people who shill for touts don't get, because as this Sports Illustrated article has pointed out, touts operate on an army of shills to do damage control and false hype their actual losing records. Stu Feiner today in 2022 is no different. He goes on your show, he goes on the airwaves, claims he's a big winner when we have Reddit posts, we have Twitter posts, we have watchdogs saying that he is not. You're getting this lying, convicted scam artist who had to pay a $13,000 fine in 1991, who still continued to lie afterwards, and you are giving him a voice. Why? I know why. It's the same reason sportsbooks in Las Vegas like to give airtime to touts. It's the same reason why sportsbooks love to partner up and be chummy with touts, and all these so-called betting experts on ESPN and Fox Sports like to chum up and get cozy with touts, because they drive business. Touts drive business. Touts drive business. They lead people to the sports books like lambs to the slaughter. These people buy these touts picks thinking they have sure things. They lose, and they continue to go back to the touts for more, trying to dig themselves out of the hole. Touts drive business. That's why Barstool partners with this convicted scam artist who lied to people in the 90s and still does today. Shame on you, Barstool. Shame on you for giving this scam artist a platform. I don't care who you are. If you sell picks, you cannot operate without lying to people and misrepresenting your long-term records. All touts are bad. There are no good touts, and Barstool should know about that, but they don't care because they just want to drive people to Barstool Sportsbooks. They employ a scam artist like Stu Feiner to drive money. A scam artist who lies to people and bilks people out of their money, no morals at all, a convicted scam artist to Barstool. Shame on you, Barstool. Shame on you. I'm going to close this video by saying that if anybody had sports betting information, if anybody had the ability to pick winners at a 53, 54, 55% rate, they wouldn't be selling it, period. They would protect those edges at all costs. There is no such thing as a good tout, and it disgusts me that Barstool, with their massive reach, they are a very valuable media company, and rightfully so, but it's sick that they are giving someone who has a documented history of lying to people a platform. It's disgusting. Disgusting. You know, I got a little bit heated there, but it's true. It's disgusting that people still give platform to touts today in 2022, even though we have a long history, decades worth of information that expose the truth about touts and how they're all lying scam artists and how their business model cannot sustain sunlight. And therefore, the only way we're going to defeat touting and get them out of the industry and turn, which I think is the worst part about sports betting, is to call them out. And if no one else is going to do that, if none of these people on ESPN who are employed by ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever to talk about sports being on TV, if none of them are going to call them out, then it's going to take smaller voices, smaller creators like me to do that, and maybe more people will be emboldened, because these people are all liars. They're scam artists. They don't deserve deserve to operate. Their business model is unsustainable, it's not ethical, it's immoral, and they have no skills other than lying to people. And that's the truth about Stu Feiner. He would be flipping burgers at a McDonald's or turning the lever at a TCBY somewhere if not for making a living scamming people and lying to people. He should honestly be behind bars by lying to people. Anyway, that wraps it up for this video. If anyone wants to take legal action, bring it on. I don't care. I really don't care. So with that being said, until next time, this is me, William Lees with Sports Betting Truth, signing off.